That's exciting.
Recording and let's get moving.
Okay, Tech, let's go. Call the order. The meeting of the South San Francisco Parking Place Commission for Tuesday, March 9, 2021 at 5:08 p.m. will please come to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Chairperson Abarca,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Monzon,
Yes.
Commissioner Mafati.
Present.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay. Agenda review. Are there any changes to the order of the agenda? No, no changes. Nobody say nothing. Okay. May I have a motion?
Oh, we don't need a motion to move
No
if
motion
there are
for
no
the
changes. Yeah,
agenda?
not until we approve the meeting minutes.
Okay. Tak, in this point, public comment. I have public comment like our next one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, that's right. And we have not received any notices or emails from the public for the public comment.
Okay. Approval of the meeting minutes of the special joint meeting of the Parking Place Commission, a Traffic Safety Commission on February 9, 2021. Now, may I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of February 9th.
Second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is approved. The meeting is approved. Now, items from the staff.
Yes, we have item 1, parking meter revenues from November 2020 through February 2021. Christopher Spiritu, Secretary to the Parking Place Commission.
Great. And before we actually begin, I just wanted to take a moment to introduce Parking Place Commission to Adina Friedman, our principal planner with the division. She'll be shadowing us and working with us, paying attention to all our meetings, basically keeping me in check. So I just wanted to take a moment and say hello and introduce her to everybody.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. I'm looking forward to attending these meetings and learning more and working with the commission.
Is Chris, is Adina in behalf of Salish?
Not in behalf of Salish.
I mean, I'm sorry, and she's the position? No.
Oh, no, that's still
No.
Tony Razi, but Adina is our principal planner. So yeah.
So when Tony became planning manager, then I took his position. So I'm now the principal planner, which was Tony's old job when Salish was still here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Welcome, Adina, and Chris has done a good job.
thank you. So go ahead, and Adina, and note that onto the old performance evaluation.
Noted.
So let's get rolling. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. We did this maybe last quarter, like around October, where we looked at kind of like the pandemic related revenue for all of our parking meters in the downtown, or actually not only in downtown. This actually takes into account all the parking meter revenue across the city. So just kind of looking at, this is the time period from January 2020 through December. We do have some totals. Total revenue that we received from all of our parking meters is about 491,000. And I apologize because I do not have the report from the 2019. So it's a point in time, or a range in time just for 2020. But we did, given the pandemic, we did have experienced some decrease in activity. But when we looked at it for that last quarter, actually, let's go back. when we looked at it from around the start of the pandemic, we did see that decrease into like as low as 14,000 to 16,000 in revenue around April and May. But that immediately changed as things started to get better and things started to kind of like normalize into that pandemic style of living and working in the city. So we did see a general increase as kind of what we had expected, is that by the time we looked at it in September, October, we were seeing an increase in revenue from our parking meters. All the way to, and I'm going to switch screens to show you the ones from November, that we were seeing total revenue relatively stay level and going up into the last quarter. We're up to at least February 2021 at 39,000. And let me jump back to the late season totals. We were seeing at around October a high increase of up to about 43,000, and then obviously around going into the holidays, as people had took time away, and given this time things actually closed down again, right, given the surge in COVID cases. So we did see a decrease in that around November, but it's still along the lines of what we're expecting, is that going into the new year, there is still that trend line that we are going. It's fluctuating a little bit, but we are holding steady at around like the high or between 30 and 40,000 as far as revenue on our parking meters and all of the parking revenue that we are collecting as a city. And then given that the changes in the going into red tier and purple and into red tier, and things opening up, people are out, we just expect this to go higher. So like by our next quarterly report in let's say May or June, we're expecting this to be even to grow. We're project up, really. That's really what I was trying to say there. So that is let me know if you want to look at the 2020 numbers, and otherwise this is what we're seeing as far as parking meter revenues for the city. And let me know if there are any questions.
Yeah, I have a question. As far as the monthly parking orders, did we see any decrease?
I don't believe so. You know what? It's difficult because we don't. We'll work with Public Works because they are the controllers of this data. So we didn't specifically request, and we don't know if we have that capability to get that kind of refinement in the data. I know that it was something we were going to ask from the vendor if that was something we could. That was data that we could pull. So let me follow up with you and the commission on that one, if we are seeing any differences in our monthly parking permit numbers.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Any other information that we might want to ask from Public Works to see if they have further information on these?
The pandemic winds down, the parklets will go away and they'll get more meter income. Is that what you predict, Chris?
Sorry, Jolene, can you repeat the question? You were cut off for the first part.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm thinking as soon as the pandemic starts to wind down and the parklets disappear, do you anticipate the meter income growing?
I think that if once we do get into a comfortable space where we don't need the parklets anymore, of course it will be still in line with what we are forecasting, which is that, you know, the parking meter revenue, in spite of the parklets being there, were going up at the later half of the year when they were there, and that just adds, yeah. Then we're projecting that even when those spaces get reverted back to regular parking meters, of course, then we're gonna see activity and usage on them as regular parking spaces. Thus, parking revenues would still go up, but not by that much. Yeah.
I'm very pleased that the parklets, everyone who worked on those did a good job, because I think this saved a lot of our small businesses on Grand Avenue. So I was thrilled when the parklets went in. So it's somewhat nervous about the spread of COVID, but it seemed like it really benefited the city with using all the parklets. So that's good.
No, it was definitely something that it was a good pivot. I mean, that's what everyone was doing in the county. And to kind of like put a little bit of perspective on it, from the time we had those parking spaces dedicated to the parklets, the actual operations of them, you know, depending on the tier we were in and depending on the level of activity that the restaurants could have, they actually were not able. They were a lot of them were up or were there, let's say by the end of September, and they, you know, then we saw in the winter they were all closed because we couldn't have outdoor dining. So we were really looking at about like 5 months of those activity from the parklets that they can really have based on San Mateo County health guidance. But those 5 months of activity was enough to help them out. That's sort of what we're seeing. So it was a good thing.
Please, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Remember, you said we had a budget for those park leads. Was it, can you refresh our memory? Was that coming from the parking um, in, income, or it was from a different budget? And also, if you had to do more investment, I remember I think it was like 36,000 at the beginning, but I don't know if you would need more. Just out of curiosity.
Right. So the way we structured it was the first order of about 70 barriers that we had purchased came out of the parking district funds to support the program. So that was this commission's approval. So that's what we did, and ordered about 70 barriers to support about 10 or so restaurants. And by September, we were actually maxed out. Like we had applications and approvals for all of those barriers. So that initial 35,000 that we spent for that has been well used. But we still had applications and additional restaurants and businesses that wanted to participate in the program. So I believe what we did then around, I think, October, or actually even September, was that the sewer fund was the one that footed the bill for another order of 70 barriers, about 35,000, with the condition that at the end of the parklet usage, at the end of the pandemic, those second set of barriers would then be recommitted to the water quality treatment plant, because that's technically that came from that fund. So that will be then surrendered back to them for their use at the water control or water quality treatment plant.
You just mentioned the sewage fund. Is that the one that we are paying with the property taxes, or that's something different?
I'm unclear on that. I don't believe so. I thought I'll get clarity, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure where the funding for the sewer fund goes. I believe it's charged to projects.
Yeah, because about 2 years ago, the whole city, we ended up with the property taxes paying for that sewer fund, I'm wondering if that's the one, because that shouldn't be touched, that money, right? It's towards the sewage.
Right. We'll get clarity on the revenue for that sewer fund, and we'll report back. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I have another question, but I don't know if we need to go to the items from commission. It's a little bit away from your presentation. I don't know if I should need to wait.
No, if there are no more questions on the parking meter revenue, we can move on to items from commission.
Yeah, I have a question, and with your permission, just that since I joined this parking place commission, we did enjoy the extra mile from the secretaries now with you and Jen. We appreciate that you guys actually answer other questions a little bit beyond of our duties. And now, if you don't mind, I would like to ask the following. The parking lot, I think was number 14, the one on Baden that was sold. I'm just curious if that fund is going to go to the parking revenue for the future usage. It'll be nice to know. We would like to be involved, or at least update. I feel like we are losing a parking a lot for a different purpose, and to the minimum, it should go to the parking revenue. So that way, when we fund the second building garage, we have some money, or we have a little bit more money.
Okay, that's something you want us to follow up on, because yeah, obviously we don't have the answers for you on that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah, definitely we'll follow up and see what.
Thank you, Chris.
Sure.
Other items?
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Can we adjourn the meeting? Okay, the meeting is now adjourned at 5:25 p.m.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.